Hello friends, it's Colrain or Colrain Tarot here on YouTube. My pronouns are they, them, and today we're going to be doing a video where we dive deep into the way that you idealize love, or the love that you want to attract towards you based on your past experiences. So I'm going to be kind of getting into a little bit of like the karmic resonance of the way that you interact with love, and whether that be romantic or familial. I'm gonna be kind of focusing on a romantic love because I'm assuming that's what most of you are interested in today. And otherwise, I'm going to be introducing the piles and just giving you kind of a sense of why I'm doing this video. If you've seen a video with me before, you will notice that I have already lit the candles and set the intentions that the guides of the highest benevolence, the truth, compassion, wisdom have come through to assist us today, and that the space is protected, and that your heart space will have the encouragement to open and feel comfortable and safe in this space. So I did not do the setting of the intention together today, and I apologize for that. But I have channeled songs for each of the piles to kind of deepen the message and allow for you to meditate on that later if you feel so called to, or you resonate with the song. Otherwise, I'm going to introduce the piles. So here we have pile 1, and I'll hold up a piece of paper for you. And each of these papers have a song on them. So pile 2 is right here. Here's the paper. Pile 3 is right in the middle. Right up here. Pile 4 is right here. And pile 5 is right here on the end. Now, to cleanse the space and do a little sound clearing before we get into the piles, if you've already selected, you can head there, but I'm going to cleanse the space. Okay. Now, I will see you in your pile. Thank you so much. Hello, pile 1. If you selected this little pink paper or pile 1, then this is going to be your reading. So I'll introduce the song first, and then I'm going to sound cleanse the area again, just because I'm feeling like I need to do that in between each pile, just to invite and create a safe space for each of the guides that are coming in. I personally like to meditate on tarot readings sometimes, just to get that auditory. So for me, creating a meditative space is important, and I think something that is helpful in order to help with any reprogramming and help us get into that deeper inner part of ourselves, because I feel like that's what tarot is meant to do. It is supposed to help us kind of self-reflect. So your song is Such Great Heights by the Postal Service. And this song is really sweet. It is kind of about soulmates, so I'm assuming that today's reading for you guys is going to be a little bit more romantic based. So just cleansing the space, opening ourselves up to guides that are going to assist us in a compassionate way towards our own inner selves and the relationships that we're in. So I'm going to start by giving you a signifier. So I've already channeled all the cards, but these ones are representing you as a person in relationships and just somebody who deals with love and self-love. So you got Vishnu, and this is the God preserver of the celestial realms. The life force within us is the same power that created the universe. This is beautiful. I feel like you guys, especially with the god Vishnu, Vishnu is a creator. Vishnu is high-spirited, and I believe Vishnu is an ascetic, but I'm not really sure. Vishnu also as like an archetype is somebody who I see almost like the magician, somebody who can draw in and manipulate energy. And I don't want you to take that word manipulate as being like an uncomfortable word or a word that means something malintent, but manipulation can be just shifting energy to create scenarios or have a certain outcome. So manipulation doesn't have to be something that is frustrating or uncomfortable, but that's what creators do. When somebody creates something, they are manipulating, whether it be physical things or manipulating sound waves if you're a musician, something like that. So I do think that in a romantic sphere or in a creative sphere, you are bringing in this loving energy by using energy manipulation. So you may be somebody who is poetic, or you like to create art or writing. You could also be like a storyteller of some sense. However you do this, I do feel like it bleeds into a creative practice, and it's something that you produce things that really represent and express the love and the emotions that you feel. I do feel like this isn't quite word-based or like verbal. It's not really spoken. So I do feel like there's something about the way that you express love and romantic feelings, if that is the intention that you'd like to receive it, in a way that's not quite verbal. It's something that is it's expressed in many other ways, maybe in a physical sense as well. So the tarot cards that I have here, these are from the Wildwood Tarot. These are going to describe you and how you relate to love in many forms. So this could also be love languages. This could be like past experiences with love, just kind of a programming around love. So we have the 9 of Pentacles, and I'll hold this up for you. And it says tradition. And I'm actually going to read them the way that they are in the deck, but hopefully you'll get the associations. So 9 of Stones, tradition. We have the 4 of Cups, or 4 of Vessels, boredom. The Tower, or the Blasted Oak, reversed. And the Page of Stones, the Lynx. Interesting. So again, with this creative energy that's not quite verbal, it's not quite explicit, with the Page of Stones and the 4 of Cups and the 9 of Pentacles, 9 of Stones, all of these energies together. I'm kind of leaving the Tower card out for a second because I feel like this is a little bit different of an energy, but I do feel like you are slow in romantic relationships or in the way that you express love. I do feel like you've been almost neglected, and I don't want to like use that word as a disempowering sense, but like it is the truth of a situation. Sometimes we do experience neglect in love and in romantic partnerships or in familial partnerships, where people are supposed to take care of our romantic needs, or not our romantic needs, excuse me, take care of our deep like inner child, the way that we need to be loved. And it's difficult when we don't get reflected in the way that we know that we are supposed to be taken care of. This 4 of Cups here, I do feel like you may have had a lot of like superficial partnerships, or partnerships that were very surface level, family relationships even that were very surface level, and that's why this word boredom is here. It's almost like you're jaded to the concept of love. Sometimes it almost feels like, is this even going to be satisfying for me? Is this something that I can actually get what I want out of it, in terms of partnerships, friendships, family relationships as well. With the 9 of Pentacles here in tradition, I do feel like you're somebody that wants a firm stability and a foundation, and you believe that you can have it. I do feel like the 9 of Pentacles is a card right before the 10 of Pentacles where you've done all the work and then you let the manifestations come to you. I feel like on some level this card can talk about being kind of ahead of the game, so you have done a lot of work. Again, with this Magician energy, you have pulled in and kind of cleansed your karma, cleansed the way that you have been sending energy out, and now you're like, where is this? Where is my manifestation? Here with the 4 of Vessels. With the Tower card, or the Blasted Oak in reverse, this person is falling out of a tree and it has been struck by lightning. And again, with the Tower card, it is talking about like a physical destruction or things changing in a significant way. So I do think that this is related to what I've been talking about with the way that maybe you've felt neglected, I'm going to use that word again, or like cast aside in other people's priority lists. I now going into the future, going into the present moment where you are right now, you're recognizing that it's not really your job to wait for other people to kind of reflect this worth back towards you. And the Tower card being a physical destruction too, I think it's talking about kind of like you're in a space where you're in a transition, where you are changing the way that you see romance or see friendships. The way that you rely on other people is going to be different than it used to be. I do see that there's more self-sufficiency too, especially ending up on this Knight of Pentacles, with tradition, kind of creating a tradition of self-love and a shelter within yourself to go back, to turn back in, to kind of, I do feel like also if you are an artist or a creator of some kind, I feel like a lot of you are with this Vishnu coming out as like your signifier. You are making a firm foundation to go back on where your worth and your sense of self is really rooted not in the way that other people treat you, but in the way that you live your life and the like lifestyle that you carry out. With the Page of Pentacles here too, this can talk about a slow energy, but with the links it kind of speeds it up. So, and this is also talking about like learning and gaining information. I do feel like you learn more about yourself through partnerships with other people too, and it signifies that sometimes, while in the past I feel like you may have tried to jump the gun in relationships or go really quickly in them, like to create a connection because you're constantly assessing if you can trust someone. There is this sense of like learning through relationships with other people, whether that's family relationships, kind of learning how to trust other people, learning how to, it's almost like putting your feelers out. And it may make it so that you almost feel like you have to test other people in relationships too with this learning energy. See, okay, can I trust this person in the physical? And so you'll do things that almost betray yourself or betray the relationship. Not purposefully to like be betraying, it's just because you're asking these questions and you don't really know how, you haven't known in the past, how to ask like a question in a really mature, communicative way. So based on that, I feel like something that if you haven't worked through in the past that you should maybe more consciously work through is like your ability to trust and your ability to let people come to you. So and what I mean by that is I feel like sometimes you might self-isolate and push everyone away, but when people show interest in you, when people start prioritizing you, see that as like a bridge of trust and recognize, okay, I can ask questions about the integrity of this person's action, but if somebody is like consistently reaching out to you and they are making you a priority in your life, make the time to communicate with that person. So I guess that was a message that was just coming through. And we have these 4 cards. I've seen them a little bit as I just opened them up for myself. But these are going to be talking about the way that you relate to love on a spiritual sense. So not just in the physical world and not just in this lifetime. So we have Initiation, card 11. And I'm going to put them above these cards. They actually line up really well. So Falling, card 10, I think, yes. And that's a sequence too, which is cool. 10, 11. Shame, 25. Actually, this is reversed, excuse me. And the Elements, 20. Okay. The Elements, I'm going to start here, is 4 different realities or talents, skill sets, energy systems that come together and they work together to cycle things through. All of us have all 4 elements within ourselves to varying degrees. kind of reflected through our astrological charts and our natal charts. So if you haven't done a lot about astrology, maybe this is a sign to like look into your chart, especially above this learning. I think that this might open up kind of the patterns that you've been going through, or like karmic patterns that you may have experienced with other people and other relationships in your life. For example, something that I'm thinking of is that like partnerships may reflect similar energies to like family relationships that you experienced when you were growing up. So like if you had a really difficult time with your mother figure, you may have difficult time in the same way with partners that you attract into your life. So with the Tower in the reverse and then the Shame in the reverse, this is the reversed column, I guess. But I do feel like this card here with the Shame in reverse, it's talking about you walking out of a period of shame or feeling ashamed of yourself for being who you are. And then shame, these shame blocks are also, I feel, connected to the root chakra. They're letting you release these programs that tell you that you can't express yourself, that you have this insecurity. It's almost like that is leaving an insecurity in like who you are, who you show up as. I feel like, again, with this creative energy, stepping into a more creative version of yourself means that you get to leave some of that shame behind because you're not embarrassed to be who you are. Let me take a drink of my tea, please. Okay. With the Falling card and then the Initiation here, I feel like this is more of a set of a bit more of like the present. I feel like this is kind of talking about more of the past, and then this is the present / future-ish energy because you're creating your future as you're in the present. But with the card Falling over boredom, the Four of Cups, this is allowing yourself to get to the depths of a problem. I feel like sometimes if you may feel bored, it's rather taking solitude, recognizing the foundation that you've laid before, the past relationships that you've been in, and it's not so much of a falling, it's kind of going back into the past. It's almost like I'm seeing somebody like fall into the arms of, I do feel like you have guides or like ancestors, especially. You may have people who've passed on that you know that are kind of assisting you at this time. If you believe in that and if that is something that helps empower you, but they don't have to be people that you knew. These could just be beings, spiritual energies, deities that you work with as well that are kind of catching you, helping to move you through a period where you feel like a lot of things aren't happening for you. I feel like a lot of you are, I'm probably going to make this a singles video, but if you are single at this time or you're in a rough patch in a relationship that you have, I feel like this time period is almost protected to allow you to work through some of these things. With the Initiation card here above the Nine of Pentacles, I feel like this is a really strong pair together. And I want you to be able to see this a little bit more, because this is creating a new tradition or stepping into a new spiritual identity. Especially if you are a creator, I do feel like this card can be very creative and talking about, again, with that manifestation, manifesting like creative impulses, things that are going to, as you work through your past in your present, you are creating something beautiful out of it as well. So with this Initiation, I do feel like you're almost, if you've never worked with like channeling when you're doing something creative, I would look into that, or like try and get into a meditative space before you start doing something creative. Okay, I'm being called to move on. So with the final three cards, these are going to talk about what's coming next for you in love. We have the Donkey, burden, heavy load. What have I been talking about? You're releasing something. You're realizing that you've been kind of a pack animal for other people's like problems, other people's shit, and you're not going to be carrying that around anymore. Walrus, enlightenment, faith. This is very much going in with this Initiation and the Nine of Pentacles there. So I do feel like this is almost an upgrade in your faith, or like being able to connect more with your like higher guidance and recognize when you are getting messages, when things are aligning for you. I do feel like there's almost like a timeline shift that's happening for you. I would look up a timeline shift meditation, or just write something like, I'm in a new timeline, I'm walking into a higher and greater aligned reality that is going to serve me and my best purposes, and all these kinds of things. Affirmations are important too. Oh, and there we go. Flamingo, romance, love. I feel like this one's a little bit farther out in terms of like distance, because sometimes I can feel distance while I'm reading tarot. I do feel like this is something that once this like burden, this heavy load, these things of the past get to fall down and you really step into this empowered version of yourself that I do feel like you have really been working hard to step into. You are attracting romance and love that is going to reflect to you all of the best qualities of yourself that you've cultivated. I do feel like this is a partner that is going to be very much a mirror to you, and I know that that's said a lot in many like romance or like protective readings, but I do feel like this person, either they had a similar upbringing to you or they just internalized the ways that other people treated them in very similar ways. So you guys are going to be able to kind of talk each other through these like revelations that you're having right now in the future. Otherwise, that's all I'm seeing for you, pile one. I hope that this resonated. I would look at this song because I do think that this relates to your future partner in some way, but otherwise I will see you in another video. I'm sending so many blessings and so much love your way. Bye, friend. Hello, pile two. If you selected pile two, or this little pink paper just said choose me, then this is going to be your love and romance reading. So let me get comfy. My legs kind of falling asleep after pile one, but I'm gonna start by cleansing the space with some sound. So we're gonna do another sound bowl ding, just to kind of create a meditative space and allow for the space to be cleansed with sound. So just the sound. Now, I'm going to introduce your song and we're going to start getting into the reading. I do feel like this really like vibrant energy from you guys. It's like giggly, so I don't know, you guys might be in a really good place right now, or like heading into a place where you can find a lot of joy in your everyday life. So this song is Just Like a Movie by the Wallows. And I'll have YouTube links to all these songs in the description. Also, I don't know why, when I channel, sometimes my nose gets itchy and you guys are itching my nose. So I'm going to start with your cards. This is an oracle card from the Buddha Wisdom deck, and this card is going to give me an indication of like you in a signifier sense, in terms of like how you relate to love and the way that you show up. So this is Akshobhaya in the realm of the Eastern Pure Lands. Objective, focused observation illuminates the truth. Yes. I do feel like this joy is something that doesn't make you extremely active. You're not a person that is like really boastful. You're not very open about the way that you love, but it is something that is like felt constantly by the people that are around you. I don't want you to take that as me saying that like you aren't expressive about the way that you love. It's just very constant. It is something that doesn't waver or fluctuate very often. A lot of you may be parents actually as well, and that's maybe where I'm picking up on that joy, is that like the love of a parent to a child, or almost like if you have pets too, you could be a pet parent. That's something that really fills you up and nourishes you in your everyday. This is something that I feel like that joyfulness and that playfulness is something that comes through a lot for you when you feel love for another being, whether this be romantic or familial or friendship. I do feel like I'm picking up on more of a rounded perspective on love for you guys, so it's not quite something that is super attached to a romantic situation, but it is something that is distributed among many people. A lot of people ask for your attention and your affection. Let's get into the tarot. So I have the Wildwood tarot here to help me today. Just describe your associations with love, maybe your love languages, something like that. So we have the 10 of Swords, or 10 of Arrows, and this says instruction. The Temperance card, balance. Three of Cups, joy. What was I saying? That like joyfulness, giggling. And the Wheel, and this is reversed. Or Wheel of Fortune. Okay. So, the Wheel of Fortune is talking about being, I almost think of it like the lottery sometimes, having like happenstance kind of situations occur that are seemingly out of our control, but they really shape reality for us. I feel like you, especially with this objective focused observation illuminates the truth, you're somebody who does seek out the truth in situations, and so you don't, with this card in reverse, you don't let yourself get tripped up on like the magical moments of life. You allow them to happen and you allow them to pass through, but you don't get stuck on them. You don't fall in love with a moment. You really look at things for what they fully are. Sometimes people may see this as like pessimistic or like nihilistic, but I don't think that that's what it is at all. Like, people may misunderstand you a lot when you're in especially romantic situations because you are very grounded. The Wheel card is a Virgo card. I am picking up on a lot of Virgo for this pile, and that maybe you have like Virgo Venus or a Virgo rising. You could also have Virgo moon, something like that. One of those places that's either about the self or about the way you relate to others in relationships. You could also have Virgo in your 11th house, but with the wheel turning, it's almost like you recognize that you need to look at things for the long term. You need to plan things out. I do feel like one of your love languages is when somebody can see the long term with you, but they aren't afraid to take things slow. So people aren't just going to rush into your life and expect to have the top spot. With the Three of Cups, joy, I do feel like this is you and like a close friend group, a close group of family members, something like that. I do feel like you guys are very family oriented, or there's a part of you that puts your family first. I feel like this isn't something that you have to really talk about to people very much. It's just something that comes naturally to you. So like the people that you live with, or if you do have pets again, or children, that is something that really does come first and something that you gain a lot of joy out of, and it's something that you take pride in your life because you're like, wow, this is a very integral part of the way that I love, and I learn so much from this joy that is like naturally coming from these situations. And I feel like you do want, in a romantic situation, you want somebody who's going to be able to blend into that situation and not detract from it. Which is important for many of us to be able to merge worlds. And then again, with that merging worlds, the Temperance card here too is being able to, I feel like for you, you need to be able to address deep-seated problems or like situations, or if you have down days where you're like upset or frustrated or things aren't going your way, to be able to experience those and then work through them with someone. I am feeling like I'm starting to pick up a little bit more on the things that you want from a partner. I do feel like you guys are single, and if you're not, you are trying to define a little bit more concretely how you want a partnership to work in the long term. You guys are kind of in a phase in your life where you're trying to plan things out. I am getting a little bit more like earth energy, or for some reason, some of you, this may be Aries, where you kind of rush into things sometimes, but you're trying to take a step back for the first time in your life. Also Pisces. And be able to kind of use a more conscious form of manifesting, or a more conscious form of seeking something out. With the Balance, with the Temperance card, Temperance comes right after death. So I do feel like you want to be able to move through a lot of transitions with someone in your life. You're looking for somebody who is going to not need so much from you, but you guys kind of meet each other in the middle, again with that balance. You want someone who's going to let you do your thing, let you fall apart, and then they're still going to be there the next day to help you pick up the pieces. With the Ten of Swords, or yes, the Ten of Swords, Ten of Arrows, instruction. I do feel like a lot of you have been burned in the past by relationships, or there have been relationships in your life that ended really suddenly, and it made you question, like, is that just what happens in relationships? Is that just what, like is that something that I should just expect for people to just walk out of my life and disappoint me? Or you'll have moments where you're just like, nope, I don't like this person anymore. And so it's almost like a disappointment, and you're like, you've come to anticipate disappointment to some extent. Like, yep, I knew that was going to happen. And I do feel like it's almost a self-fulfilling prophecy. So something that recently I feel like a lot of you have been by yourself for a long time, and that has been instructive to show you with this joy that relationships, a lot of it takes place on a nonverbal realm. A lot of it takes place in the in-between, in the way that you allow for each other to sit in the silence and in the stillness. And I feel like that's something that has matured you a lot in a relationship sense, helping you to figure out what you really want. So let's look at the spiritual side of what you desire in a relationship, or what you are attracting in love. We have the Chasing, card 16. The Maze in reverse. I feel like a lot of you have been really confused in the past about what romantic feelings even are for you. Like, what is the difference? Should I feel almost like a family connection to somebody? And then it leads you through like this maze in your mind. I feel like you have a lot of compartments in your brain, and so you've got all these things in different boxes, and they're all like, do you see how these are all kind of separated? You have a lot of things very much separated in your mind, and so sometimes it's hard for you to like let all these different things bleed together. Again, there's just heavy Virgo energy, or like Mercury energy in general. This also could be Gemini. I don't know why I'm getting so many like signs for this pile, but and then Counsel. I feel like you are a more mature person on like a spiritual level, and like you have lived many lifetimes, and so for some, or actually for all of you, you're somebody who like can spend a lot of time by yourself, and I think that's what you've realized recently, spending time by yourself, almost to the point of like hyper independence. And so you're like, what could I even get out of love or relationships with people, or deepening relationships with people, that I can't just get from myself and from my higher team and like my spiritual purpose and my spiritual connection? And that's where I think that this confusion comes from, because sometimes it is almost like you feel like you might have to chase something in order to receive it, or like you chase so many things, like in a career sense, or in the passions that you have in your 3D life, that it makes it so that you're like, do I even have time to invest in a relationship? I do feel like in terms of the way that you connect to a romantic partner, sometimes you may need to like set aside specific times to invest in that. Like if you're thinking about doing online dating, or if you're thinking about if you have someone in mind, like that you've already been talking to, maybe setting aside specific time to spend with this person so it doesn't bleed into other things, and it's a little bit more of like a sweet experience for you. It doesn't feel like an obligation. It feels like something that you can use, not really use the relationship to relax, but like it's something that ends up feeling relaxing for you because you've taken the proper time out. I also would avoid, I feel like something that might drain you possibly is feeling like you have to spiritually counsel somebody, or like give them information about like spirituality, or about like the way that the world works. So something that I would caution you for if you are getting into partnerships, or you're looking for a partnership, is looking for somebody who kind of is going to meet you on a spiritual level. And then these cards, I forgot to introduce them. These cards are going to be what you're manifesting next in love. So possible future relationships, or things that you're drawing in terms of romance. Owl, which is caution, wisdom. Again, with that discernment, what was I just saying with that counsel card? Kind of making sure that the partners that you're bringing in, or the people that you have around you aren't just asking a lot of you. It's making sure that there's that reciprocation, again with this balance card, that that person is meeting you where you're at and you're not having to have another like job almost. Iguana, contentment, satisfaction. I do feel like this is you finding contentment and satisfaction in relationships that you already have, but also recognizing what you feel like physiologically when you are content and satisfied, and then also finding that like real contentment and inner satisfaction within yourself. For some of you, I just got a message back to this 10 of Swords or the 10 of Arrows instruction. You're either going to be releasing certain relationships from your life, or you have just released relationships from your life that are teaching you a lot of lessons about yourself. And that's only for a few of you, but I did get that message coming through that relates to that contentment or that satisfaction. And then finally, what did I just say? Cooperation, completion. Like, that's a major lifestyle change. Recognizing that maybe in the past you have a history of relationships that kind of took from you. Now you're moving into a place where you're done with that. You're laying that to rest, and you're really stepping into your own power and being like, okay, maybe quality over quantity, excuse me. And then recognizing that in the past it may have been flip-flopped. So I hope that this resonated. Pile 2, just recognize if you're waiting on something, it will come to you. You are going to learn a lot about yourself coming up, and then you're going to be able to push out any of those like things that are keeping you from this contentment or satisfaction. I will see you in another video. I'm sending so many blessings and so much love your way. Bye, friends. Hello, pile 3. If you selected pile 3, then this is going to be your what's coming next in love / like how do you relate to love reading. So I'm going to sound cleanse the space just with one tap, and we're going to get into the reading. So I'm doing that just to kind of create a meditative space and allow you to get centered into your body the way that you would if you were doing a meditation, so that you can receive the messages and use your intuition to understand which messages are meant for you. So, pile 3, your song is Warm Honey by Willow. And I'm going to set this up for you, and I'll have all of the songs linked in the description. So, I have cards already channeled for you, but I'm going to start with the oracle card on the bottom. This one is going to describe you as a just partner, lover, person who experiences love, and to kind of signify to me the archetype of you in this context. So I love this card. This is Princess Mandrava, first wife to Padmasambhava. Sometimes love changes the course of a life. That's really beautiful. So right away, I do feel like you guys are in a space where you've worked through a lot of feelings of self-worth, like programs around self-worth, things where other people may have tried to push you off track. Because I was getting a pain in my hip. It's almost like somebody like bumping you from the side, trying to get you off course. I do feel like this could possibly be talking about past relationships, but Princess Mandrava was somebody who decided that she was never going to get married, and that she basically didn't want anything to do with love or romance. And then she found Padmasambhava, who was a really great teacher, and she was already had devoted herself to studying Buddhism, and then he was such a great Buddhist teacher that they ended up connecting and getting married. So I feel like a lot of you either right now are really diving into something that you're super passionate about at a soul level that like grows you as a being, and then you are going to be finding somebody possibly who really syncs up with you on that level and really opens you back up to love, because I do feel like you've done a lot of work, and so you're gonna start moving in that direction. I do really feel like there's a lot of romance coming through for this pile, which is really exciting. So let's get into your tarot cards. Oh, and you guys actually had a lot of tarot cards, so I'm gonna try. Oh no, you didn't, sorry, I'm thinking of another pile, but you guys had a lot of these cards. They're all gonna line up perfectly though. So Three of Wands, fulfillment, or Three of Bows in this deck. Page of Cups, vessels, otter. What did I say? An offer coming in. Eight of Wands or Eight of Bows, hearth fire. And Two of Pentacles, challenge. Actually, I feel like this one needs to be reversed. Okay. So, Three of Wands, I think, is where you're at currently in the present moment whenever you're watching this. So, with the fulfillment, I feel like you are trying to ask yourself questions about fulfillment, trying to find fulfillment on your own in things that are beyond the physical. So this is really taking refuge in like your belief system, in your faith, putting everything out towards the guides and the beings and the deities, whoever you work with or whatever you work with, whatever you see spiritual forces as, you really put your faith on it or them and said, hey, this is what I've wanted, this is what I've done. I'm not going to pressure you, I'm not going to put a timeline on things. I do really feel like you're separating yourself from stress and anxiety that has to do with fulfillment or feeling unfulfilled, or telling yourself things like, you know, I'm never gonna meet the person I want to meet, or I'm never gonna be the person I want to be. Like, I feel like you're letting these things go, even though I just spoke them out loud. I feel like that's kind of to give an example of the things that you're starting to leave behind. With the fulfillment, this is a really exciting energy, because the Three of Wands can be somebody choosing to go on a journey, or seeing, like in this card shows, a fork in the road and choosing to go. You know, I could either go the way that I've been going, where I've been saying things to myself, like in the past, about my self-worth, or about like being frustrated with the universe, being frustrated with things, or I could take a new route and decide to choose fulfillment, decide to, you know, give everything up and say, you know, it's not in my control for a reason, and let things surprise you. The Page of Cups coming through here with the otter. The otter is a symbol of joy, a symbol of satisfaction, a symbol of peace, like letting yourself find the childlike joy of life. This also can be talking about offers of love. Sometimes the page can be a little naive. I feel like in some sense you may be getting offers that you might have at one point in your life been really excited about, but maybe right now you're like, you know, I think I deserve better than that, and I'm willing to wait. I do feel like for all of those no's that you make, you are going to be getting an offer that is one that you really enjoy, with this Eight of Bows, the hearth fire. Do you see how these people are crowding around, and it's like a family scene? I really do feel like a lot of you are connecting with like a soul family, or like a group of people that are really on the same frequency as you. They think really similarly about romance, or about love, about the way that you love, like the way that you should be in a partnership, or family scenarios. Sorry, my words just got blocked. with the Two of Pentacles in the reverse, this is challenge. I feel like this is indicating that this won't be challenging for you, and that things will kind of balance themselves out. So when this card is upright, sometimes it can talk about needing to balance things, but I am feeling that things are being balanced for you because of this faith that you've put in the universe. Something that I do think that you enjoy in a romantic relationship, or like is important for you in a romantic relationship, is for somebody to share their feelings in a like non-pressury way. So like you wouldn't want somebody to like propose to you in front of a crowd of people, you know, like I feel like you really enjoy intimacy but in like a private setting, and you also really want somebody to allow you to not have to drop the things that you already do. I feel like some of you are possibly involved in like sex work, or you're involved in something like maybe you have something to do with like polyamory or something, but you are a very like giving and like loving person, and you don't want somebody who is a partner of yours to stop you from doing those things. You don't have to be involved in either of those things, but if you are just somebody who like, you don't want to have to reserve you don't want to have to reserve too much of like your heart space for just one person. You don't want to feel closed off or trapped by somebody, and I do feel like one of your love languages that you really like to express is acts of service. So I feel like this person, you don't want somebody who's going to challenge you too much. I feel like you want somebody who's going to push you to be the best version of yourself and like support you, but I don't feel like you want to be fighting with somebody over like basic fundamental parts of your life. And I feel like that might be something that you had to put up with in the past, where other people didn't really let you feel this fulfillment. So let's look at these 4 cards are going to line up perfectly with each of these, and they're going to kind of clarify on a spiritual level, like on a higher level, what is happening for you in terms of romance. So we have missed opportunities in the reverse, past lives, world of dreams, and loss. Okay, I do feel like a lot of you really had your sights kind of set on a certain relationship, and that relationship really did cause you a lot of challenge. So I do feel like some of your focus is still a little bit put back on that relationship, and that's why I feel like these other offers that I was talking about, once you push them to the side, it's going to show like the faith that you've put, or whatever you put your faith in, that you have really understood your lesson from the last person that like kind of made you frustrated, or like didn't really show up for you in the way that you deserve to have somebody show up for you. With past lives and world of dreams and loss coming after this missed opportunities, I feel like this is showing that you didn't miss any opportunities, and the opportunities are still coming to you, and you're not going to miss them. There is no way to miss these opportunities because they are meant for you. With the past lives thing, you are learning from not only your own past life, like the life that you've already lived in this current lifetime, but you're also learning from patterns and cycles that you've repeated in past lives. So if you have a history in past lives, I don't know if you're into this or if you've done past life meditations. If you haven't, I would suggest doing a past life meditation after this. But if you have a pattern of like rejecting relationships that get hard or difficult, or allowing yourself to be taken advantage of, this is something that I feel like you're really breaking through. With the world of dreams, this is a really positive card, especially over the 8 of Wands. I do feel like this is something where you're recognizing the places in your world, in your current life, that are nourishing you and bringing you to a closer connection with spirit and helping you to really cultivate a self-love that allows for you to feel fulfillment. And then loss, again, above the 2 of Pentacles, I feel like this is you letting go of the ways that you've created or accepted challenge or challenging circumstances as it relates to love. So you're letting these things go, and everything is really kind of going into this world of dreams where you're going to be able to really manifest what you want. With the World of Dreams card, I do feel like it's almost like lucid dreaming, where you say, I want this, and it starts to appear in front of you. So these 3 cards are going to describe the future. So what is kind of coming towards you in love, what you are manifesting in a romantic situation. We have emotion healing, the alligator. So what did I say? You are really being able to feel your own emotions. I feel like this is really tapping into the emotional body. I am getting the sign of Cancer, so maybe check where Cancer is in your chart, or check your 4th house as well. See where what kind of energy you have towards like home life, and possibly also 7th house, so partnerships, and maybe how that's transiting with right now. But emotion and healing, with the alligator, it's like kind of waiting your turn and then being able to strike when the time is right. So again, with that patience, not just going for the first thing that you see in terms of like offers being made towards you. Empowerment, freedom. Again, I feel like this really connects with this healing. You're healing emotionally, and because of that, you are becoming empowered. You're coming into a version of yourself where you don't have to seek fulfillment from things outside of yourself, and you really get to choose where you're going next, and recognize that you're not missing anything. And then coyote, cunning, resourceful. Both of these cards are hunters. They're someone who waits for the right moment, waits for a situation to be exactly what they want, to sink their teeth in. And Princess Mandrava did the same thing. She waited until she really felt like the things that she deeply cared about were reflected in the partner that she found. Otherwise, she wasn't going to get married. She wasn't going to settle or compromise for somebody. And I feel like that's what Spirit's asking you to do right now. Don't settle, don't compromise. We are bringing in, with this eight of bows or 8 of wands, hearthfire, we're bringing in people around you that are going to nourish you in the ways that you need right now, but maybe give yourself time to draw in a partner that is going to be exactly what you deserve and exactly what you need. Otherwise, I would check out this song, and I don't think that there's anything else. I'm sending you so many blessings and so much love. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in another video. Bye, friend. Hello, Pile 4. If you selected Pile 4, or this pink piece of paper, then this is going to be your love and what's coming next for you reading. So the song that is on your pile is People by AJJ. I did really get a lot of Aquarius vibes for this pile, or like air sign vibes, so maybe that's a confirmation that you're in the right place. I'm going to ring the sound bell just to cleanse the space and allow for you to get into a meditative place if you are choosing to meditate on this video, or do any kind of subconscious programming, or getting really deep into your psyche. So, and this is also cleansing the space and allowing for, again, the guides that are here to assist Pile 4 with their highest compassion and contentment to come through. So this card here is going to describe to me you as a lover, as a friend, as a family member. So we have Skull Cup of the Inner Offering. Giving creates a flow of health and love. I feel like for this pile, a lot of you are somebody who a lot of people rely on. A lot of friends, family members, regardless of the age or the time in your life, have really seen you as being somebody who understands how to give. And also with this may indicate that you really like to receive gifts as a love language, or you like to give gifts or acts of service as well. So that's something that I feel like is just part of your love language, regardless of how you feel about somebody, what, like, who they are in your life, what role they play. Something that you really like to do is just give. And also, I do feel like Spirit recognizes your generosity and likes to give back to you. So it's a kind of a reciprocal relationship. Okay. I have tarot here, and you guys have the most tarot, so I don't really know what's going to come out. But these cards are going to be describing your associations with love, possibly more about your like love languages or just the way that you feel about love at the current moment. So I have a feeling it might be a little bit complex just based on all the cards, but they may all line up. So we have the Queen of Pentacles, Bear, Queen of Stones, the Sun. So immediately we have this very fiery energy. A lot of you also, besides like being an Aquarius, you may have some strong Sagittarius energy going on, and I do see Sagittarius as a very airy, fiery sign. King of Wands, again fire, or King of Bows, the Adder. Three of Stones, creativity. The Devil in the reverse. And the Eight of Pentacles. And I'm going to move, oh, this needs to be upright. I'm going to move this over to the side. Okay. I feel like you guys are leaders in some way, with the King of Wands and the Queen of Pentacles, and the Sun being between it. I feel like you have two sides of yourself. On one hand, you are somebody that can detach from your emotions really well, and show up for people. And it's in this Aquarius way. So it's not in a way that you aren't sensitive to the situation. It's just that you can take your own personal feelings out of the situation and really counsel people through something. A lot of you may be in the mental health field, or you're like a social worker. I'm also just seeing like leadership role, so you may be like into politics in some sense, and you have an emotional response to the things that are going on, but you're also asking, how can I fix the situation? How can I lead other people and help other people transform, especially with the snake energy? I do also feel like some of you may be in the medical field as well, so you are somebody that, again, you have the emotional response initially going into it, but you need to be able to take like super intense emotional responses out of the situation in order to serve others more effectively. The Queen of Pentacles here, I feel like, is on the other side, maybe outside of a career situation. You're somebody who's abundant enough in a personal emotional space to where you are a really good friend. You are able to provide for others emotionally, and again with that gift giving. I just feel like things are very physical for you in the way that you show affection. So you may be somebody who gives everybody hugs, you like physical affection, like kissing, you know, all those fun things, pats on the back, pats on the heads, things like that. So, and the Sun of Life is just you radiating. I do feel like a lot of people are just naturally drawn to you, especially with this really generous energy. People just kind of circle around in your sphere. Because you have so much radiant energy, I do feel like you draw a lot of people to you, and it makes it so that you can kind of discern in all of those situations, do I really want to be friends with all these people? And so sometimes you may get overwhelmed, because you have to ask yourself, like, can I, or do I want to be in all of these relationships? And so it's kind of being able to ask yourself, like, what you really want from these situations. With the Three of Pentacles and the Devil and the Eight of Pentacles, I feel like this is a very different version of you. I feel like this may be you in the past, with the Devil being the center instead of the Sun and it being reversed. Not to say that you were somebody that like gave in a lot, but I do feel like you were somebody that almost like you felt taken advantage of, or unable to connect in with this really creative version of yourself, and instead you felt really restricted. The Devil can sometimes be like getting into a really strong creative flow state, being able to express yourself creatively, and in a way that like is almost scary to other people. Like it's so connected to who you are, but like in the reverse, I feel like it was you weren't able to express yourself in relationships all that well, and you relied on other people. I am feeling like this is almost like a codependent relationship, but you were put there. I do feel like you may have had a history of like narcissism in the past, where narcissistic people really tried to control you and make you like their puppet. And again, with the Three of Pentacles here having the word creativity on it, I do feel like this is something that kept you from creativity in terms of like leadership too. I feel like this is more of like being somebody that other people look up to, being somebody that has presence. I do feel like a lot of you have some kind of social media presence with all these people kind of congregating around you. I just feel like a lot of people pay attention to what you do and like love what you do. So, but it's more of like, especially with this Queen of Pentacles being the bear, you almost like go hibernate and like really, you think it's important to be selective about who you invite into your inner circle, and I think that's important. With the Eight of Pentacles too, I feel like this almost is an energy separate from everything else, and this is something that I feel like you really like to work, and in terms of love and relationships, you want people to give you your space to do your work, to not just work, but like find what's important to you through your work. I do feel like there's a certain amount of Saturn involved in this group where you are really disciplined in terms of how you like craft an image or how you express yourself. So the people around you need to be a part of that skill set. I do feel like a lot of the people that you love are involved in some way in like your career or in what you feel like you have to say in the world. Yeah, and I feel like also you may be a teacher with that too. People see you as somebody who's really skillful, and then therefore you see yourself as being somebody who needs to experience love by teaching and being taught. These cards are going to describe the spiritual experience that you have with love and romance, and I want to get a little bit deeper into like the future at this point, so talking about what you're drawing towards you. We have Rebirth 27. I'll show this to you. Gift, I love this card. And Robbery. Interesting. Okay. There's a message here about not letting what you expect of things to, or like not letting suspicion sabotage what is coming towards you, especially with this gift. I want to read from the guidebook. I haven't really been called to read from the guidebook on anyone, but I feel like there's something here. The gift. A gift is being presented to you. Take careful note. What is it made of? How is it given? How is it used? What can it affect? Does it have personal meaning? Like Arthur's sword Excalibur or Perseus' mirrored shield, gifts are powerful totems granted to us by the gods to focus energy and power. However, to use your gift, you must first accept it and then understand how to use it. And of course, one day you must return it. I'm also thinking of Thor for some reason, but just like having a gift that is given to you. I'm thinking of Steven Universe too, how each of them kind of have their own, I mean, in any like superhero or hero type of scenario, they all have like a gift or a power or something that's kind of given to them from something outside of themselves, and then they're able to use it to help others. And I feel like that's something that you already know that you have. I feel like sometimes you get suspicious about people coming in and kind of, it's like the way that you love people is a gift too, and you're suspicious of like giving that away into when it's like really deep inside. It's something that is very close to your heart and like you feel very intensely about it, and I feel like that's why you have this ability to detach so well from your close emotions in order to help other people, because you really do have an understanding of a universal experience. In terms of this, being a future energy, I do feel like something is coming towards you in terms of like a relationship or just like a reconnection with like a family relationship that hasn't gone exactly the way you want, and it's going to be like a gift. And then with this rebirth, it's something beautiful growing from something that may have felt really, really, really hard in the past. Whether this be a version of you that's dying, I do really feel like that might be what it is, or a association with certain relationships. So like a certain type of relationship dying. Again, that might be codependency or like narcissistic abuse type of relationship dying. You are going to be given something, but don't be suspicious of it. With this robbery, like don't be worried that somebody's going to come and take it, or you need to be like on the lookout for worrisome energy that's going to like take away from it. I feel like if you do feel like you need protection, it is important to maybe do some kind of protection spell, or just envision like light surrounding you in your home or you and your friends or something, however that might be, just to kind of ask for the universe to give back to you and protect. Yeah, so these are going to finally describe what is coming towards you in love in terms of energy that's coming towards you, because these all have little words on the cards. So this is Peacock, Lighthearted Laughter, beautiful. And Peacock, I do feel like, is almost like, since you have this like radiant kind of energy where you attract a lot of people towards you, I feel like somebody else is going to be like this peacock and kind of impress you in some way, especially with this gift. I feel like it's really tied to it. They have similar energy, and lighthearted and laughter, it might make you feel like a child again, but in a good way, not in like a frustrating way. And then hummingbird, unique, distinctive. We have a lot of bird energy here. So yeah, this is something or somebody that I do really feel like for a lot of you, this is a person, somebody who's going to stand out to you, whether this be a friendship, some of you it may be, or a romantic partnership. This is just somebody who you're going to be seeing this person in a way that you've never seen another person, and connecting with them on that level. And then beaver, trust, home. So yeah, I do feel like some of you, or actually a lot of you, this is a turning over or a new cycle in a family relationship, or the way that you relate to the people in your home. And then also protecting and guarding what you see as like your foundation or your home life a lot more. So that's all I'm seeing for you, Pile 4. I hope that this resonated. I'm sending you so many blessings and so much love. I'll see you in another video. Hello, Pile 5. If you selected Pile 5, then this is going to be your love reading. So what is coming towards you? What are the associations that you carry with you from the past? What's your karma relating to love languages, all that. So get ready, take a seat, get centered, and we're gonna go. So I'm going to ring the sound bell to kind of open up this space the way you would in a meditation, to allow for your higher self to reach you and allow for you to get really deep connected in with your inner psyche and almost meditate on this video. So, and we're also opening up the space to invite in your guides that are helping you in your romantic life, but also in family, just whatever associations where you need to understand your love and your love languages. We're opening that up. So the song that you guys have is Those Magic Changes from the Grease soundtrack, which as soon as I channeled this song, I knew that this pile was gonna be really funny and just like, I don't know, like that's just an unexpected song to get. But I do feel like something that's really important for you is music. You may have playlists that have to do with love, or like you really associate music and lyrics like with your love life. I resonate with that to some extent, so I understand, but like I feel like spending time asking your spirit guides to communicate to you through music might benefit you in some way. I don't know why that like message just came through really strong, so hold on one second. Okay, now I am going to start this reading off with a signifier. So you as a lover, as a friend, as a partner, as a family member, all that. And You got the Primordial Buddha Vajradhara. I just butchered that, I'm sorry. Brilliant sky, illuminating sun. The entire universe manifests out of awareness. So, I feel like this energy is a lot about, like, I mean, there are two people embracing on this card. So I feel like this is not only about, like, being aware of yourself in relationships, but also being aware of your being in this lifetime. So with the brilliant sky, illuminating sun, it's like observing the mind as the sky, a brilliant sky, and then the sun, which comes from the sky and illuminates like shadows and things that are going on within. I do feel like some of you have I'm not going to label what kind of attachment it is, but there is an attachment to something or someone in your life that almost feels like you have to make sacrifices for this person. And I feel like it's time to assess how you want to address this relationship or address this attachment or connection. And I feel like it's going to be different for each one of you because this is a general reading, so I'm going to try and get a little bit more into that because that's interesting. So the tarot cards here are going to describe the way that you idealize love, or like maybe not idealize, but like what is the goal with love? How do you see relationships? How do you want people to relate to you? We have the Hermit or the Hooded Man, Three of Swords, Jealousy, Three of Arrows, Two of Arrows, Injustice. Okay. I wasn't going to like discourage you, but the cards are being a little funny. We have the Two of Vessels, Attraction. Okay. So, in relationships, I feel like sometimes you guys are okay with the Two of Swords and the Three of Swords. You're okay sometimes with an injustice, or you allow yourself to be like the other person. So if somebody is interested in somebody, you kind of sit back and allow yourself to be like option number 2 or 3 sometimes. And I feel like not only does that come from like it's a self-worth kind of a thing, and I don't want to like disempower you and tell you that this is how it is or how you need to be, but sometimes we allow ourselves to be mistreated because we aren't sure that there's anything better for us, like, or we're worried that that isn't going to show up in our reality. I'm not really sure if this is like a self-worth thing where you feel like you don't deserve it, but I feel like you may feel like it just doesn't exist. With the Hermit here, I feel like this is an indication that you need to spend more time by yourself, because if you are constantly like talking with somebody or immersing yourself in other people's energy, it's really hard for you to discern what do I feel and what is this person. It's almost like manipulation, but maybe not manipulation. It's almost like somebody's imposing energy on you, or like trying to instruct you on how to feel or something. And it's kind of with this burning heart, it almost like sets you on fire, and just if you're on fire, you're going to be moving quickly towards something just to simply get rid of the discomfort. Yeah, that's why this energy came up. There's a lot of shadow stuff that's involved in the way that you feel about love, and it's almost confusing. With the Two of Cups here, the Two of Cups is so much different than any of the other 3 cards here, because this one is about attraction. It's about meeting somebody where they're at, and usually we see this as more of a positive card. But I feel like whatever you're disliking, oh, we have the burning heart twice. Whatever you're disliking about somebody else, or disliking about relationships that you have. These could also be friendships, like if your friends keep doing the same things over and over and it makes you frustrated, you're like, why are these people doing it? It may be trying to, like, spirit trying to show you the things that you also do that are frustrating to your own self, and kind of asking you to look at yourself and say, how am I like this person, or how am I dissimilar to this person? And just the Two of Cups can be about people kind of being our mirror, or being attracted to us to show us something, to teach us a lesson, or to open us up to another side of consciousness. I do feel like it's almost like once you spend time going within, you're going to have this kind of like awakening moment. It's almost like your guides have been asking you to sit in meditation, or to sit down and do some kind of shadow work, or like journaling or something, some kind of reflection, in order to step into a better version of yourself. The Hermit I also see is connected to the sign of Leo, and the sign of Leo can sometimes be talking about our ego, and so sometimes our ego gets really wrapped up into our relationships with people, because it does say something about us on an inner level. And so for you right now, I feel like something that's happening is like this ego is getting caught up in a lot of things, and so there's like versions of yourself that you feel like you need to fulfill, or this is just how you are. And so Spirit's asking you to question those and kind of open yourself up to a little bit more, so that you don't have to feel jealous of other people, and so that you don't have to keep experiencing these imbalances, and allowing for people to just kind of take and not give. Because the Two of Cups is a card of mutual reciprocation, and so maybe asking yourself, how do you want to give and receive? Because I do feel like you're somebody who has a lot to give, but right now it's almost like you're being drained, like life force is being sucked from you. Like even this person, I know this isn't supposed to be how it is, but I'm just seeing this person as almost like leeching off of the other person. So it's like something's stuck on you. These cards are going to describe kind of what's going on in a spiritual sense, and maybe a more, I don't know if I want to use this word, but like more positive outlook on the way that you relate to love, and like kind of what you deserve. Okay, you got Death right out the gate. This is wearing a mask. This person, the mask on the outside is like a happy face, this purple. It's a happy face, and it's like drawn on, and then the person inside is really breaking. I feel like there is a lot of heavy energy around the way that you relate to love. You feel like you have to mask a lot of it, and you don't, I feel like some of you don't really understand social cues all that well sometimes. And so you can almost like idealize love, or idealize romantic relationships that are unhealthy, because, and it's not because you don't, it's not what you deserve, it's just because you don't understand it. So again, with this entire universe manifests out of awareness, I feel like part of it is being able to take a step back right now and like open up your awareness to the situations that you're in. Because we also have the Toxic card. So this card is talking about a toxic situation, or something that is breeding toxicity, that's just taking from you. And I feel like some of you just think that that is how a relationship should be. And it's not like on a conscious level, it's just you don't feel like there's anything better out there for you. At this point I'm kind of repeating myself, but allowing yourself to step into this death. I feel like Death is closest to the Hermit card, because you've got to allow yourself to shine brightly. You've got to allow this like eclipse energy for your emotions and your ego to meet, so that your ego, part of it, can die, so it doesn't keep you stuck in situations where there's like this really intense beginning to something, and then somebody just starts taking from you. And then work, I feel like in this sense is shadow work, but also I feel like it's taking time on a more etheric level to do work. So like I feel like this is dream work, looking at the kind of messages that come to you in a subconscious sense, but also spending time doing something other than relationships. So putting yourself more into investing in yourself and doing more work on yourself as like a higher being, or as like a career person. Not really sure how to say that, but like somebody who makes a mark in the world, and taking all this hurt and this frustration that you have going on and this confusion and kind of funneling it into some kind of expression in another sense. These cards are going to describe the future of your relationships, or like your love life, and kind of what you're drawing towards you at this time. So we have Vulture, adaptable, opportunistic. I feel like this is talking about other people, but also vultures are like an underrated animal in the animal kingdom. They take from something that has died and turn it into something that is nourishment. So they're like scavengers. I feel like if you're in situations that are kind of dead or like toxic, with like all these other energies that have come out, you're going to be able to be opportunistic with it, and adapt all the things that you feel like are weighing you down and making you feel really shitty about yourself, and turn it into understanding of like things that other people have gone through that have brought them into being that type of person, and then recognize that you can make the choice to move out of that situation. We have the Rat, another scavenger animal. Purge, simplify. That's talking about it's like cutting off the cancer. If you have a tumor that's growing on you, why would you become attached to it? If it's just kind of taking from you, it's almost like parasitic. If there's something in your life that doesn't feel like it's pouring as much into you as you are into it, maybe considering how you can simplify. If you don't feel like completely cutting out this person, or it's not possible to cut people out, or you don't feel like that's necessary, maybe changing how much you put into the situation. So simplification is being able to kind of condense things, make more room for your own self to expand. I feel like right now you're in a room that is full of a lot of things, and it's almost like the walls are caving in, so you got to like take things down, and let yourself breathe, or maybe rearrange things too, because simplification can be rearranging. And then finally we have transition, unknown. Once you get out of all this heavy energy, there is a transition. With the Hermit too, I feel like this is almost like, if we're reading right to left here, you go from this energy over here where it seems like there's some kind of silver lining, and then it just gets darker and denser, and then you've got to find that silver lining that you initially were attracted to in the first place, and transition out of this heavy, dense energy into a place that's unknown. Part of that is embracing the fact that a lot of it is unknown, and recognizing that there's beauty in the unknown, becoming more comfortable with that unknown space, not seeing uncertainty as trapping or stifling or scary, and seeing it as an opportunity. So I hope that this resonated, and I'm sending so many blessings and so much love your way, friends. I will see you in another video.